happy night. How do you say, well, whatever. Hello, I'm here. I was gonna say good night, but I'm just starting this video. What do people say at night? How was your evening? I don't know. Good evening, but it's a bit late for an evening. What time is it? 11:17, 11:18. And this is a video journal of sorts. It's Diana. I'm here. She's in 2025. My AI avatar has not been made yet. And someone proposed to me today on TikTok live stream. A stranger, kind of. I mean, I haven't met him in real life. I guess it was the first time I met this person through the internet. But the internet is such a strange, a phenomenon to me as a stage actor. I'm confused. And yet, I guess in 200 years ago, it would have been like being on the street and someone coming to me and declaring marriage. I don't know. That being said, I think I was deflecting a question. Someone asked me. I decided, okay, what do I want to talk about today? I decided to start playing with live streams on TikTok. I guess this would be my second time going live with my face. The first couple of times I just wanted to see what the software was gonna offer me on the desktop app and on the mobile app. So I just did a random screen share of me playing a game, like a mobile game. And that was nice. Do I have fans now? Is this what having a fan means? I had a fan. Well, okay, let's just put it in words I can understand. Okay, I had another human being joined me on these live streams and was really supportive of my being there. Now, that person's intentions and desires and wishes from me being live is a separate issue. You know, it's not within my control. However, the interaction that we had was very supportive and healthy. I felt like it was just like normal conversation, I guess. Yes, I was really nervous. I was really, really nervous going live on TikTok. Even though I was playing a mobile game, legit. I didn't know what to do, what to say, what to talk about. So I just talked about the mobile game. And then, but this person was really really sweet and to me. So whatever inspired them to be kind to me, you know, I'm grateful for that. And that makes me think, you know, what is the value of live streams? Because I've not really been a consumer of many live streams, to be honest. I have to be very frank. Like, I'm a stage theater. She's a theater kid, you know? Like, I'm here, literally. I was gonna work on a monologue today. I'm in the stage of working on this monologue where, you know, I've started lifting the words and absorbing the words as a whole. And now I'm doing like a zoomed in part. So what I do, yeah, I can talk about my process, I guess. It's not a secret, because the real secret is in the moment. The thing with acting is everyone can show you the methods, but it's up to you as a human being to hold space for and bring life to the imagined life of a character inspired by other human beings. So I really don't believe in what do I not believe in? I believe, let's talk about what I do believe, because that led me to an empty space that the brain has not really figured out what she wanted to say yet. But what I do believe in is sharing the wealth of information that I have and my experiences with people. And for some reason, I want to just share it. I don't feel, I have faith that the universe is going to provide for me and look after me. So I don't know yet. I don't feel like this needs to be in a course or taught. I don't feel like I have to be a school teacher yet. You know what I mean? I don't feel like being called to teaching formally in informal institutions of education at this point of time, because I'm an actor. I'm just here to act. Also, I don't believe that experiences and information need to be restricted to formal schooling. I think there's value in the communities and the wealth of resources that formal schools are custodians of and stewards of, and in this information age. It's not just in this information age. Sharing is always caring, Sharing is caring. How we choose to share is up to us. I think I just said a lot about the kind of person I am. Okay. Anyway. This actually relates to what I am absorbing right now. So I'm working on Masha's monologue from Act 3 of The Three Sisters by Anton Chekhov, translated into English by Paul Schmidt. Because I'm going for a Chekhov intensive. I'm going to be flying to New York sometime in the middle of next week. Given that I may be sharing this information on the internet, that is private. So I'm going to be flying to New York. That's all I'm going to say. But and one thing we're supposed to be doing is preparing a monologue. So this monologue's been on my head, on my brain, ever since I looked at it and I absorbed it. I think I uploaded it the first time I read through this monologue personally, from an actor's perspective, not from an audience member's perspective, not from someone listening to an audiobook, but as an actor, because it requires a mindset shift to do that. And today, the words I'm working on are I'm working on this one long sentence. It's a really long sentence because, well, this is my handwriting. You can see the triple dots, which means that the sentence ends, but it doesn't quite end. The idea keeps going all the way to there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lines. What I do with my monologues right now, and this is stuff that doesn't need to be kept to institutions of schooling. I think that's why actors are so generous, and I think that's why the public doesn't quite understand the value of conservatories and why acting deserves to be a degree program in university, especially in Singapore. I'm just going to be honest. In my culture, if we were truly going by, what was, the study and the appreciation of art, is valued. However, it's not unlike other cultures. That's something I'm realizing. Every culture has this. And because, I come here to the West and the white people are still talking about it, just like the Chinese people are. So it's a human experience. So I think it's a shared human experience. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that as human beings, this is what I want to share. As human beings, we are still learning the value in the unseen, the craft of the unseen. But that is not just us, I guess, not just acting. How many years ago, when Isaac Newton was still discovering the laws of physics, I'm pretty sure people thought he was crazy, that he was a heretic. Because you can't see those things, but what he did was show that there is evidence in the seen that would prove these unseen laws. So, and what I do as an actor, and I think that's why it's so interesting and magical, because good acting is a little bit like physics. It is. Nobody can tell you exactly how to recreate gravity, but we all know what its effects are. Nobody can tell you how exactly to organically create gravity from yourself. Let's just talk as an actor. Nobody can really tell you how to really act from your own vessel. What they can do is share with you how they act from their vessel. That's the art of acting. So, I don't know why I decided to share that information. Because I feel like this is the kind of stuff I wish I'd heard online for the price of my attention. Coming here to this here internet. I'm not sharing this for free, really. People are paying attention to me. If you're still listening, you've paid 14 minutes of attention to me. So, I value time. Time is our most valuable asset. So, when I record these things, I don't intend to be the 1 minute person that you're listening to, like, for the full second, and then you comment section, and you no, and then all of that right now. I don't know if that is where I'm at in my life. But where I am at is, like, I'm the kind of person who likes to, like, listen to podcasts in the background when I'm doing household chores, And I guess I want to add to that kind of content. I want to be there for people in a way. Because I thought about it. I really thought about it. I thought, I'm just Ken. I'm just an actor. I'm not here to... I mean, all of these other skills, producing, directing, editing, writing, I appreciate them from the point of view of an artist. And jobs, you know, like I've done a lot of odd jobs in my life. If you've seen some of my other videos, you would know. This girl has triple lifed before. She's worked a full-time job and done freelance things and part-time jobs on the side. I don't know why she did that. I do know why she did that. She was just very energetic when she was younger and wanted to make more money and wanted to enjoy her passions as well. Like, she wasn't living the fire life. You know, she wasn't looking to retire early, quote unquote. She was just really passionate about things. Like, I was passionate about dance, a particular form of dance, because I received a lot of opportunities to perform on stage, and I created characters. I had stories. I was telling stories through physical theater, really, just not in a conventional physical theater setting. Like, I was not embraced by the National Theater or anything, but I was an independent artist. So I created characters. Even my job as a software engineer, I saw that as method acting in a way. Yeah. Because the role that was being created for me was born out of circumstance. I'm still talking about acting. If you're asking me, what is she talking about? Why is she telling all these stories? In the big grand scheme of things, it is about acting. Let's ground it in the text that I'm working on. So today, I've been working through, the last few days, I've been working through the 7-line section. What I do with my monologue, so if I have a large chunk of time in a play, I will write I will write it out myself in my own way, in a method that works for me, so that I can slow down these moments and really study the thoughts, connect the thoughts. Because what I'm seeing here, really, this is what she says as Masha. And what I do is a secret. I don't feel the need to share my full process right now. Yet. I think because I'm still baking it. She's still cooking. You know, the slow cooker is still going. So I'm gonna let the herbal soups and the broth simmer on the stove while I figure out how I'm gonna share what I started to share earlier in my full process. But let's talk about the topic at hand for me right now. Oh, my darling, we'll get through life somehow, no matter what happens to us. When you read about these things in books, it all seems terribly silly and predictable. It does. But when you fall in love yourself, you realize nobody knows anything about it. This sentence, this long sentence, I wrote it out and it takes up 7 lines of my page. But it's saying a lot. And yeah, part of my process today has been like, wow, what? I just feel this line so deeply. You know? It's not just about love. It's about life. Because it's true. It's so easy for all of us as human beings to be spectators. We can watch shows, we can listen to other people's stories, but when you do it yourself, you realize nobody knows anything about it, and everyone is figuring it out for themselves. The same can be said for TikTok, going live on TikTok. Going live on TikTok is very different from going live on Instagram. Going live in general is very different from performing live in human form on stage. So nobody, when you read about these things in books, it all seems very human, very dramatic, very predictable. When we watch celebrities live their lives in public, yeah, we all have our opinions. It's not just I think when I say celebrities, I also mean like rich people that are talked about on Forbes. Famous people in our own industries. So industry famous people, people at work. You don't even have to be famous. That is what I want to share. When we look at another person's life, it's so easy to say, wow, I can see everything that's gonna, things that are surrounding this human being. And yet, being present in our own lives and retaining a sense of agency and direction, we'll get through life somehow, no matter what happens to us. Becoming an actor on film. I'll get through it somehow, no matter what happens to me. Let's connect it to the moment before. You know what? Let's do the whole thing. I need to get this in my body by the time I show up in a week and a half where I will be presenting this. So, welcome to the life of a stage actor who is getting used to being on camera. Thank you to the person who joked. I don't know whether you were joking or you were serious, but this person on my live stream today, I remember what happened. He asked me, "Are you married?" And I was like, I guess this is what things change. My experience on the internet has changed drastically just by showing my face. Yeah. And then I said, "Why are you proposing?" Because I was like, this is quite a personal question, but I don't know how. Let's see how Diana feels. I was experimenting. I was like, let's be cheeky. Because I know these are the kinds of questions people are still asking female actresses. journalists are still asking these questions, so let me experiment with all of the various answers I can give and see what happens. He said, yeah. All right. Well, no, I said, why are you proposing? Am I married? I'm an actor. I'm not a marriage expert. But I guess there is another meaning in that question, right? And what? And then he was like, yes. I'm serious. And I was like, oh. Then I started laughing nervously. But you realize nobody knows anything about it. Everyone has to figure it out for herself. It's like, what is happening on my live stream right now? But luckily, this person was really polite and maintained a sense of boundaries and propriety in this public space. What was I doing? I was just eating food. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just practice makes perfect. Someone else asked me, are you going live today? My supporter from my video game live streams. And I was like, honestly, I don't know what are actors supposed to do when they go live. That's why I just did the random gaming thing. And he's like, even the random gaming thing was good. Like, you have presence on camera. You should just keep, he didn't he didn't say it with that many words, but he just said, keep going, practice makes perfect. So here I am practicing. I'm just showing up. And you know what's so funny? I guess no amount of qualifications can prepare you for this moment. Oh my goodness, I'm really absorbing the text today. No amount of reading these things in books can prepare you for being and living through the experience of life. And everyone has to figure it out for herself. She's really bringing Masha, giving life to Masha right now. I am connecting with the text as the author intended. Because it's not my words on this page. I have, I have more than just Masha on this page. I shall share about that. Let's talk about it. What I do now, I actually include the thing I'm responding to. Because, it helps me. I don't know if it will help you as an actor, if you're an actor watching this. I don't know if it works for you. I'm just an actor, but it works for me. And I'm sharing it because maybe it might work for you if you are an actor. I'm not even going to use the word aspiring, budding. You are on this path of acting or you are not. Even if you're doing it as a hobby, you still are on the path. And I think any actor worth their salt will tell you that. Because I saw an interview with Dame Judi Dench today. And she was saying, there's no difference between quote unquote employed and unemployed as an actor. You are an actor or you are not. And the difference between actors who are in the public eye being employed and someone who is not paid by others to bring acting to the public is really just social capital. She didn't say the word social capital, but she said it was just luck. But then she elaborated. She said it's about working with amazing people and meeting these people and co-creating art together. Is kind of basically what she said. She said it's about your relationships with people in the industry and not necessarily like just networking, right? It's about artists seeing each other for the art that they bring. And I think that's why she said it's about luck, because so much of that is out of our control. A director may watch this video and be like, I don't see it. And another director might watch this video and say, she has the range of emotions that I'm looking for. I need this actor in my film. You know, I need this audacity in this wavy hair Chinese girl with a jawline. Strong, I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't have the like I have my own form of beauty, I guess. I don't know. But I do know that there is beauty in every human being. Oh my goodness. I think I'm having heartburn. Or something. Or maybe I'm releasing some tension. Maybe I'm just really stressed right now. I think I'm having heartburn. You know, when you have slow digestion and it's like it's like I'm just feeling it in my body, and I just wanted to let you know so that you're on the same page as me. You know, she's not just distracted, she's having a human moment. Excuse me. Let's talk about it. What just happened before this moment? Let's take out the book. Olga and Irina's room. Beds right and left behind screens. It is after 2 in the morning. Fire alarms are heard in the distance. They have been going for some time, and it's obvious that no one in the house has been to bed yet. Masha lies on the sofa, dressed in black as usual. So I'm lying on the sofa, dressed in black as usual. In The Three Sisters, I'm married to an older teacher, school teacher. I think I married him when I was 18 or 19. I'm speaking as Masha, as an actor in the imagined life of Masha right now. So I married him when I was really young, and I was going to school myself. I was still learning about the world. So I had respect for him as a more experienced human. But over the years, I realized I didn't love him. And right now, there's a fire happening. This is after the fire. This fire has burned away a lot of important things for my family. And we're all processing this moment. And what has happened is I fell in love. Everyone is freaking out. They're saying a lot of words. What do I say? I'm still lying on the couch. Literally. The sky is red from the fire. Fire engines are heard going by the house outside the windows. Anfisa and Olga are just talking. Getting fair point. Natasha enters. They're basically freaking out. I'm lying on the sofa, dressed in black. They're still talking. I get up. They talk for one full side and about a half. I get up. I take my pillow and leave angrily. They are still processing what to do because of the fire. Where's Masha? Now Kuligin, my husband, is looking for me. Should have gone home long ago, and they say the fire's dying down. So we were supposed to go. And he confesses to my older sister. Sometimes think if I hadn't married Masha, I would have married you, Olga. You're a wonderful woman. I'm so tired. Lol. So it's not just me who feels this way about the marriage. And maybe I agree. I think, as Masha, I agree. He should have just married my older sister. They're a better match. And I don't know why she's still single. Why is she still single? Why did I even marry him? I mean, I know why I did it. But at this point in Act 3, I'm just like, why did I do it? Why did I? I'm questioning myself, like my path choices. Ooh, Virginia is here. I react that way because you'll find out. If you know the plot, you know, you'll find out. If it weren't for the troops, the whole town would have burned. Terrific, every one of them rubs his hands with satisfaction. Good boys, just terrific. Does anybody know what time it is? It's already after. So my husband did nothing. What did Rasheenan do? I don't know. It hasn't been said yet. So what I did, I was on the couch at the start of Act 3. Sorry, on the sofa, dressed in black, in silence, up until Olga got upset. And I was like, oh, I'm getting out of here. My husband comes in a few moments after that and tells my older sister that maybe he should have married her. Lol. Because he can't find me, I guess. Is it my fault? No. Yes. No. What is my fault is not being there. But what isn't my fault is the fact that he told my older sister maybe he should have married her instead. Takes two hands to clap. Rasheenan comes in. I'm a mess. I got terribly dirty at the fire. I heard a rumor the other day, something about our brigade being transferred, maybe to Poland, maybe to the Chinese border. Nobody knows. Before, what is my husband talks before Rasheenan says something. They're talking about me. Maria Sergeyevna, who plays the piano beautifully. Nobody in this town understands music, not a single soul, but I do, and I tell you she has talent. You're right, Baron. I love Masha a great deal. She's a splendid woman. So my husband says he loves me now. Okay. I'm a splendid woman. I think that's why I'm like, I have the interaction I have with him later on in the play. Can you imagine what it must be like to play so beautifully and to realize that there is no one who understands you? They're talking about me. These men are talking about me. They're gossiping. Am I backstage? Am I behind the screen? Where am I? Where am I when this is happening? Masha needs to know. Masha needs to know where she is. Or I need to know where Masha is. Because it changes things. If I'm hearing this and I come out, it's unsaid. Okay, I just flipped the page. I enter carrying my pillow and sit down on the sofa. So I could have been in the hallway hearing the men talk about me. That would change the way I bring what I bring to this thing, right? I could have been there. I think I want to make that choice. I like that version of Masha. Masha. She's strong. Her accent is fluctuating between the British and the American today, the RP, and the SCGA, to be specific. I struggle with this when I'm not in a character. My accent, like when I see words on a page, I'm reading as a narrator. I hear it in my head as RP, and it automatically comes out as RP. I think because I lived there for so long, and I mean, maybe it's a Commonwealth citizen experience. But the narrator in my head is RP. It's BBC English, you know? And then coming here and going to school for acting, I realize how many other actors love this RP and they want to master RP. So 我就收起我的 some, you know, I just started keeping it to myself because why did I do that? Why did I do that? Because the teacher noticed their reaction. And I was like, 我不要为难他, you know, I don't want to make their life hard in facilitating this group. So let me fit into the rest of the group. Let me find chemistry with everybody else. But then, am I being authentic to myself and the reality of my lived experience? If I don't bring me? Question marks. I'm loving this. I did not expect to come on to this video that I may or may not share. I will probably share this on my YouTube channel. So hi YouTube. I did not expect to, because what I sat down today, you know, I was like, I'll just film a video journal. I'm still working on this monologue. I don't want to work on it all by my lonesome anymore. So let's just make it a video journal about an actor working on a monologue. But then, as most journals go, there's small talk and life talk. Small talk is not small in significance. Just because people say it's small doesn't mean it's insignificant. It's actually a very valuable human experience. It relieves stress if it's done healthily, you know? Okay. What am I drinking? I am drinking herbal Chinese flower whole leaf tea. There are hibiscus petals, goji berries. I think there's ginger. It's really yummy. I could drink it elegantly, like those 后宫娘娘. Or I could just use the lid to hold the leaves back. And just drink the tea, brah. Anyway. I am gonna make the choice that these boys are talking about me and I'm standing behind the door in the corridor somewhere. Toting, listening to everything they're saying. We are in Olga and Irina's room. Why are they here? Well, there's a fire, so. So, let's get back to it. Man says, this, is it Tusenbach? I don't know. I'm not a Russian expert. I want to learn Cyrillic, actually, just for the interest of learning. I learned Hangul. I love learning different alphabets. Anyway. They've been after me to organize a benefit concert for the people who were burned out. Here, who could you get? My youngest sister is responding. We could do it if we really wanted to. Maria Sergeyevna, for instance, she plays the piano beautifully. My husband says, beautifully. My youngest sister says she forgot how long ago. She hasn't played in 3 years, maybe 4. Tusenbach responds, no, the one who's being asked to organize a benefit concert to cheer everybody up and lift their spirits. Nobody in this town understands music, not a single soul, but I do. And I tell you, she has talent. That's sweet. I'm an artist who hasn't touched my art in 3 to 4 years. And a man says, I still have talent. Thank you, man. And my husband says, you're right. I love her a great deal. She's a splendid woman. And this is the response to him. He said, well, you see that the guy is not even directly responding to him. He's just saying what he really thinks. Can you imagine what it must be like to play so beautifully and to realize there is no one who understands you? And I guess that's why he thinks I stopped playing 3 to 4 years ago. My husband says, as a sigh, yes, but would it be proper for her to perform in public? Of course, I really know nothing about it. It might be perfectly all right, but you have to remember that our headmaster has rather particular views. He's a fine man, a very fine man, very intelligent. I suppose it's not really his business, but still, if you want, I could probably have a talk with him. I see. My husband doesn't have a spine. Masha thinks. Diana as Masha. See, if I were to live the life of Masha, my husband doesn't have a spine. I want to if I wanted to perform in public, or not in public. As my husband, is he gonna let another man decide whether or not I can do it? Do what I want? Those are the questions I have. I'm listening behind the door. You know, those are the thoughts I'd be having. I'm like, no wonder I fell out of love with you, bro. Do you really love me? Do you? Do you love me, or do you love the fact that other people think I'm talented? Questions. And then Vershinin says, I'm a mess. I got terribly dirty at the fire. But right before he says that, another man who hasn't spoken yet, Dr. Shebuchikin? I haven't listened to this play in a while. It's showing, hasn't it? No, it's not. I don't know. I've just read it. You know what I mean? So I'm reading this name out loud for the first time. Shebuchikin? Is it Shay? I know it's Shay. I know that when there's a CHE, it is Shay in Russian. I'm gonna hold my tongue on that thought and Google it later. He picks up a porcelain clock and examines it. So another man, instead of saying something, picks up a clock and looks at the time. It's just after 3 right now. So yeah, it was after 2. It was like an hour ago, I suppose, as the author intended at the start of this act. And now the author intends for it to be after 3. And it's getting light. That's what Tusenbach says. So my husband reveals his insecurity of not knowing whether it's proper for me to be playing the piano in public. And he needs to check it with the headmaster. When you read about these things in books, it all seems terribly silly and predictable. But when you fall in love with yourself, you realize nobody knows anything about it. I can relate right now. I know why I said that. So Vershinin says, I'm a mess. He changes the topic. The boys are talking about me, and Vershinin changes the topic. He says, I'm a mess. I got terribly dirty at the fire. Pause. Brings in a new idea. I heard a rumor the other day. Something about our brigade being transferred. Maybe to Poland, maybe to the Chinese border, nobody knows. So if it weren't for the troops, the whole town would have burned. Terrific, every one of them. He thanked, good boys, just terrific. That's what he said. It's the first line he said. The next thing he talks about is how dirty he got at the fire. So he was there with the rest of the boys, rubbing his hands with satisfaction after a job well done. He took action. My husband, what was my husband doing? This man went and saved people, got dirty at the fire, and now he thinks he might be leaving to Poland or the Chinese border. The person who's been asked to organize the benefit concert now says, that's what I heard too. Well, that will empty out the town. My youngest sister replies, and we're leaving too. We are leaving too. And we're leaving too. You know, I haven't done enough work on this character to know how she would say it. But she's excitedly exclaiming. There's an exclamation mark here. She also wants to leave the town. And the doctor who picked up the clock drops the clock and it smashes to pieces, and he says, smash. The man has been quiet while the other boys were talking about me. Vershinin talks about the fire and maybe leaving the town. And this guy drops the clock and time smashes to pieces, symbolically. There is a pause. Everyone is distressed and upset. My husband picks up the pieces. Ivan Romanik. Such an expensive clock, and you broke it. You get an F- in conduct. 古板. That was Mama's clock. My youngest sister says that was Mama's clock. No wonder I feel so restricted by him. F- in conduct. The guy who broke the clock says maybe Mama's. Alright, so it was Mama's. Maybe I didn't even break it. Maybe it just looks like it was broken. No, maybe it just looks like it's broken. Maybe we don't even exist. Maybe it just looks like it. I don't know anything, and nobody else knows anything either. He's lost after the fire. When you read about these things in books, it all seems terribly silly and predictable. But when you fall in love yourself, you realize nobody knows anything about it. Everyone has to figure it out for herself. Okay. At the door. So now he's at the door. He says, what are you all looking at? Natasha's having a little affair with Protopopov. But you can't see that. You just sit there and you can't see that Natasha's having a little affair with Protopopov. And he sings, don't you like this little fig I'm giving you? And leaves. Wow. No wonder he broke the clock. Right? No wonder he broke the clock. Let's go back to the cost list for this play. Almost went all the way back to Uncle Vanya. The army doctor. Natasha, his fiance, later his wife, I guess. She's not one of the three sisters, but she's my brother's fiance. The man just talked about my brother's fiance. Vershinin. Well, and he laughs. This is all really very strange, isn't it? Did he have a nervous laugh over there? He did. He did have a nervous laugh. Because right after he talks, I enter halfway through his monologue. He's gonna have a monologue now. This man is gonna have a monologue, and I enter halfway. When pause. He starts talking about the fire again. He actually talks about the topic at hand. He's a man of business. He's a man of action. He's a man of action. Oh my goodness. You'll see why Masha is behaving this way later. It was, When the fire started, I ran right home. As soon as I got there, I realized our house was safe and sound, but my two little girls were standing in the doorway. All they had on was their underwear. Their mother was gone. There were people running everywhere, horses, dogs barking, and on those little girls' faces was a look of horror, fear, anxiety. I don't know what all. It wrung my heart to see them like that. My God, I thought, what will those little girls have to go through during their lifetime? I picked them up and brought them here, but all I could think of was what they would have to go through before they die. Fire sirens, pause, and when I got here, I found their mother, angry, screaming. Masha enters. I enter, carrying my pillow, and I sit down on the sofa. So, what am I going to be doing as Vershinin finishes the story? On the character list, his wife is not named. His daughters are not named. So I have to create them from these little details. His wife and his daughters are here. Okay. And when my little girls were standing there in their underwear with no shoes on, and the street was all red from the fire and the noise was terrible, I thought, this is the way things used to happen years ago. A surprise enemy attack, arson, looting. He's a vet. I enter carrying my pillow and I want to listen to a story. And yet, of course, he's a man with real life experience. Not like my husband, who literally just freaked out about a clock being expensive and broken and telling someone that they had an F- in conduct. Masha don't like that. Masha does not like that. Okay, and yet, of course, there's really an enormous difference between then and now, isn't there? There's really an enormous difference between then and now, isn't there? And after a little time goes by, say 200 or 300 years, people will look back on our life with horror, or they'll laugh. And the things we do today will seem strange and complicated and impractical. And oh, what a life that will be then. Laughs. Excuse me, I'm talking too much again. It's just the mood I'm in. Okay, so everyone is freaking out because of the fire. Man comes in. He actually talks about his real experience with the fire and him putting the fire out. And then going home and ran right home and realized that his house was safe and sound, but his 2 little girls were standing in the doorway with the other parent gone. He actually shares his experience with the very tragic thing that just happened to all of us in this play. Because that is kind of what a lot of the play is. It's like, we don't actually see the fire on stage. We see the reaction people have because of this tragic incident that almost burnt the town down. So really what we're seeing is people process a traumatic incident together. Now he says, excuse me, I'm talking too much. He gets self-conscious. He realizes that he shared his experience and he shared his he shared his thoughts about how life is fleeting and how things humanity will make progress regardless of what happened today. And he says, and then he pauses and he looks around and he says, you're all asleep. Well, I'll keep talking anyway. What a life that will be. Just think. Right now, there are only 3 people like you in this town. Another generation, and there will be more. And then more, and more. And a time will come when the whole world will have changed because of you. And everyone will live like you do. And finally, even when you will become part of the past, and people will be born who are better than you. He laughs. I'm in the strangest mood today. I feel an urge to live, to do something wild, and he sings. He starts singing a song, and he laughs, and I join him in his song. You'll see the significance of this later. Trum, 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 tum, tum. Oh my goodness, I'm singing with him. Another man enters and dances his saying it's all burned up. Everything's gone, it's all burned up. And he laughs. My youngest sister asks, what's so funny about it? Is everything burned? Fedotic. Everything, it's all gone. The guitar burned and the camera burned, and all my letters burned, and I bought a little notebook for you, and that burned too. Second Lieutenant. Oh, wait. Is that the guy she's in love with? Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Rashinin. Okay. Another guy comes in. Who is this guy? Solioni? So people are just coming in at this point. And my youngest sister says, go away, you can't come in here. How come? And he asks, how come the Baron can and I can't? Rashinin, we should all go, in fact. House of Fire. So Rashinin is taking charge right now. He's a battery commander anyway. Colonel Rashinin. So he checks on the fire. And they say it's stopped. And then he's like, how come the Baron can come in here and I can't? And then Rashinin goes back to singing with me. I'm singing now. Oh, the next time I talk here, I ask Nikolai Lvovich, will you please get out? Huh. So Rashinin leaves before I say this, and I tell the Baron. Do I? Yes, I tell the Baron to leave. Really, you are the limit. I tell him to go. I chase out Fyodor. Are you asleep, Fyodor? You should go home. My husband. I tell my husband, you should go home. And then my youngest sister tells him that I'm worn out and that I should get some rest. And my husband tells me, I'm going right now. My dear wife, my wonderful wife, I love you, my only. She says, I've been married to you for 7 years and it seems like only yesterday. No, truly, you are astonishing. And I'm happy. I'm a happy, happy man. And I say, and I'm bored. I am bored. I am bored. There's one thing I can't get out of my head. It feels like someone nailed it there. I mean, Andre, he took out a mortgage on this house, and his wife got all the money, and this house isn't just his, it belongs to the 4 of us. He must know that, if he's got any decency left. My husband says, why bring it up, Masha? It doesn't affect you. Andre owes money all over town. I feel sorry for him. I said, I don't care. It's still revolting. I see. My husband says, you and I are not poor. I work. I teach at the high school. I give private lessons in my spare time. I'm a plain, honest man. Omnia mea mecum porto, as they say. I don't want anything, but the injustice of it revolts me. Go home, Fyodor. And my husband kisses me and says, you're tired. You take a little rest. I'll wait downstairs for you. Get some sleep. Crosses to the door. I'm a happy, happy man. So what is he really telling me? He's telling me he's happy that I'm present in his life. He's happy that he married a woman like me. And I say, I'm bored. I start telling him a problem I'm having. And something I'm frustrated about. And his first response is just to tell me, question me, and invalidate my frustration. And then talk about my brother. But then he says that we have it good, is basically what he's trying to tell me. And I'm just saying to him, I don't want anything out of it, but the injustice of it revolts me. There's a pause. Go on home, Fyodor. Okay. Well, that is an interaction with my husband. And I'm going through this in detail because it affects my monologue. So, he leaves. Finally. Now, the only people here are my 2 sisters and me. So basically, I just had to tell him, look, I just want to be alone with my sisters. Leave me alone. My youngest sister had to tell him that I want to be alone. And I need to take a little rest here. I guess that's what because what else have I been doing? These are the things that I said, right? For the whole act. I've been here since the start of this act. Final act, act 3. I've been here. I was lying on the sofa. Chilling, bro. Resting. Listening to my oldest sister and Fisa and another woman freak out. They're freaking out. My oldest sister is having a breakdown. I take my pillow and I leave. I come back when Vershinin starts talking about the fire and his 2 little daughters and all of his problems and the things he does. And then what happens? I say nothing. I sing with him. And the next line I say is to ask someone to get out. I ask all of the men to leave. Basically, I just tell them all to, individually, I tell them to leave. I tell my husband to leave. And then I'm left with my 2 sisters. My youngest sister and my oldest sister. My sister starts talking about our brother and his wife. And how he used to have dreams. He used to want to be a scientist, and yesterday he was bragging that he'd finally become a member of the county council. So she's saying that his fiance has influenced him to get so petty, so slow, and so old living. Andre has gotten so petty, so slow, and so old living with that woman. He's a member, and Protopopov is the chairman. The whole town is talking and laughing, and he's the only one who doesn't know anything, doesn't see anything. So, his fiancée is having an affair with the chairman of the county council, and my youngest sister is unhappy. And he just sits in his room playing his violin when everybody went to see the fire. And my youngest sister can't stand it. See, now I know why the injustice of it all revolts me. My brother took out a mortgage on the house that belongs to all 4 of us, the 3 sisters and a brother. And his wife got all the money. And my husband says to me, basically, it doesn't affect me. He invalidates the reality that even though I am a woman, I am 1/4 of an owner in this inherited house. And then he says, my brother owes money all over town and you feel sorry for him. Okay, husband. You're saying to me that you are a plain honest man and you make money and we're fine without him. But you're not realizing that I have a right to feel a sense of injustice because my brother, one of the 4 of us, regardless of gender, one of the 4 of us made a decision on this house and took out a mortgage and gave the money to another person who is not a blood relation, but is related by marriage. And my youngest sister now starts sobbing and she can't stand it. My older sister enters towards the ending of my younger sister saying what she said. So I'm the only one who's heard everything that my youngest sister said. My older sister enters and goes to straighten up at the dressing table. And she gets frightened. She's like, what's the matter, darling? What's the matter? Because my youngest sister is like, throw me out, please, get rid of me. I can't stand it anymore. So my youngest sister is having a breakdown. My older sister is breaking down in her own way, but straightening up at the dressing table and keeping it together, you know? My youngest sister is expressing all of her feelings and thoughts, and she's basically, I'm living vicariously through her expression of emotion. And her depression and her tears. Well, she's not depressed. She's beyond depressed. She's expressing her sadness loudly. Oh my goodness. And whilst my youngest, she's like feeling despair. My youngest sister is in despair. And my older sister's solution is for her to marry the Baron. And my youngest sister talks about moving to Moscow. And her dreams. My older sister says, oh, darling, I know. When the Baron resigned from the service and first came to see us in his civilian clothes, he was so plain looking I started to cry. But he asked me what I was crying about and what would I tell him. But if God brings the 2 of you together, I would be very happy, blah, blah, blah. You see things from a very different point of view. Natasha enters with a candle in hand. She walks silently across the room in a straight line from right to left. The woman who received the money from the mortgage has just entered the room. And that's why I say I'm sitting. I finally say something. You'd think she started the fire herself. Now we get to my monologue. My oldest sister, Masha, you're so silly. You're the silliest person in this family. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Is my sister condescending? Or is she secretly agreeing with me and doesn't feel brave enough to say, you're right, Masha? Your snarky little comment was on the nose, is what she's saying. You think she started the fire herself? Oh my god, I know this girl. I know Masha. Diana's talking now. Diana's like, I know this girl. I know where this comment is coming from. You think she started the fire herself? Yeah, because what else do I say? I've said nothing other than how revolted I am by the fact that my brother took out a mortgage on something that we share and gave money to this woman. So she's carrying a candle and walking silently across the room in a straight line from right to left. I assume she left the room, you know, because she's not here anymore. It doesn't say exit stage, right? It just, well, yeah, it just says she walks across the room. Now I have to start my monologue. But right before I start my monologue, there was a huge pause. It says, so what really triggered this monologue is Olga's line, really. But where am I? What is my headspace? This is the moment before. This is the moment before that all actors talk about. This is preparation. Let's do it together. I'm tired. Hugging my pillow. I came to spend the night with my sisters because there was a tragic fire and I want to be with them. My husband doesn't give me any comfort or solace. In fact, from what I overheard, I'm a trophy, really. He adores me. He worships me. I'm on a pedestal. But he doesn't see me with his heart. He doesn't hear me when I speak. He has no insight into what I care about. When they talked about my talent and in performing, all he cared about was whether or not it was proper. Whether or not his boss, would approve. When I talked to him about what another man... So yeah, I talked to him... Well, no, I overheard him basically revealing his insecurity and his anxiety over what his boss might think if I perform in public. I said to him, I'm not happy that another man, my own brother, made a decision on the rest of our behalves with shared property and gave that money to his wife. And what did he say? It doesn't affect me. He invalidated me. And he just told me we have enough. And that he's working really hard to give me what he thinks I want. So I feel bad for that. Him, you know, hearing that. I feel bad, you know. That's why I say, like, I don't want anything, but the injustice of it revolts me. I say, yes, I don't want you to give me more. You know, I don't want you to feel like you have to give me more. I think the subtext of that is I don't want anything more from you. You know, I don't want anything from this situation. But what would I want from... Why do I say this? After my husband tells me that he's a happy man being married to me, I say I'm bored. I am bored. And then I tell him. I straighten up and speak. I'm confiding in my husband and my youngest sister. My oldest sister hasn't come back yet. So my husband and my youngest sister are in the room. And I tell them, there's one thing I can't get out of my head. And it feels like someone nailed it there. So I'm telling him that I'm kind of disgusted by what my another man did. A man who's related to me. Rahona, my own husband, does nothing about the problem I'm talking to him about. he actually tells me it's not a real problem, basically. He's telling me that it's, even if I feel upset that someone took a shared property to borrow money and gave that money to his wife, and therefore if he can't repay the mortgage, all of us 4 people are liable. And yeah, what would I have wanted, you see? Because the only other time that I actually make a sound in this act is when Verschinen sings, and I sing with him. Because I re-enter when all of these men are here and I'm listening to Verschinen's story. I would have wanted him, you know, and this is very significant for talking about what the author intended. That phrase is gonna stay with me for a while. If we're talking about what the author intended, there's a reason why I enter right after this man talks about his 2 daughters and what they will have to go through in their lifetime and how they were in their underwear alone when the fire started. And when he saw them, his first thought was to go back to war, a surprise enemy attack, arson, looting. He started thinking of their safety. And then he realized that there's an enormous difference between then and now, isn't there? He's basically saying he realized he wasn't at war anymore. And that life has meaning to it, and that as humans we will make progress. And there will be people who will be better than us, and they won't have to live through these traumatic experiences the way we did. That's what he's saying, really. And then he says, I'm in the strangest mood today. I feel an urge to live, to do something wild. And he feels grateful for being alive. So why do I sing with him? Because I feel inspired by that. So, now my youngest sister. Okay, so let's come back. Let's take all of that context in. My husband is not practical. Enough. In his eyes, it's about conduct, propriety, sense of duty, public image. And therefore, when he says he's a happy, happy man, and I've been married to you for 7 years and it seems like only yesterday, no, truly you're astonishing. He's looking at my appearance, not my heart. And I try to tell him my heart. And he didn't hear me. He says, you're tired. You take a little rest. I'll wait downstairs for you. Get some sleep. He's telling me that he can't solve my problem. What would I have wanted from him by saying this? He must know that. So I say, Andre, he took out a mortgage on this house and his wife got all the money. And this house isn't just his. It belongs to all the 4 of us. He must know that if he's got any decency left. Do I want my man to confront my brother? Should I have confronted do I want my man to back me up when I confront my brother myself? Questions, right? I think as Masha, I would go with a second choice. I wanted my husband to say, okay, what do you want to do about it? Should we confront him? Should we talk to him? Should we give him a little intervention and be like, hey, you need to open your eyes to your relationship with this woman, Natasha. Open your eyes, brother. And maybe I would have wanted my husband to say, yeah, as a man, I'm gonna tell you, like I was very fortunate to marry your sister, and your sister would never do something like this to me, so why are you letting this woman do this to you, brother-in-law? Maybe that's what I would have wanted from my husband, right? Interesting. Living in Masha's imagination now. So, my husband doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. He just, okay, leaves after admiring my beauty. Okay. My youngest sister basically talks about the affair that's going on behind my brother's back. And how everything, and how, let's be very frank, he just sits in his room and pays no attention to anything. He just plays his violin. That's what she says. And then she's like in despair. Where did it all go? I'm sick of it. I'm almost 24. I've been working all this time and my brain has shriveled up. I've lost my looks. I've gotten old and nothing. There's no satisfaction in any of it, and the time passes and you realize you'll never have the beautiful life you dreamed of. You just keep digging yourself deeper and deeper into a hole. I'm in despair. I'm really in despair. The oldest sister says, if you want my advice, marry the Baron. Masha married a man. Masha married a man. And did my man solve my problems? So, I'm here, listening to my sisters go through these emotions. The literal woman that I feel might as well have started the fire herself, just walked through the room. And so I say, you think she started the fire herself? My oldest sister, who I probably agree should have married my husband instead of me, because they're so alike. I think she wants to agree with me, but she's too bound by her sense of propriety to laugh at my little joke. Masha, you are so silly. You are the silliest person in this family. I'm sorry. Excuse me. My dear sisters, I want to confess something. I want to bare my soul. I want to confess something to you, and then I never want to say another word about it ever again. I want to tell you everything right now. It's my secret, but you should know it anyway. can't keep it to myself anymore. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I love that man. The one you saw just now. Well, that's it. I love Vershinin. Olga goes to the bed behind the screen. She draws away from me. And she says, "Stop that. I'm not going to listen." What can I do? At first I thought he was strange. Then I started feeling sorry for him. Then I fell in love with him. In love with his voice. With the things he says. With all of his problems. With his 2 little girls. Olga is still dismissing me from behind the screen. She's not. I'm not listening. I don't care what you're saying. I'm not listening. Oh, Olga, you're the silly one. I'm in love. It's fate, I guess. I mean, it's just my luck. And he loves me. It's also funny, don't you think so? Doesn't it strike you funny? Oh, my darling, we'll get through life somehow, no matter what happens to us. When you read about these things in books, it all seems terribly silly and predictable. But when you fall in love yourself, you realize nobody knows anything about it. Everyone has to figure it out for herself. My dear sisters, there. I've told you. Now I will never say another word about it. The rest is silence. Now my brother enters, followed by Farapont. I'm not going to go into that because my moment has ended. My monologue has completed. There are a couple of things here that I want to point out. So yeah, I love Vershinin. But as you can see, we spent the last, 40 minutes doing the preparation work together. Thank you for joining me in this journey of an actor's work. But you can see how personal it is, right? Every actor is going to go through all of the things I just went through with you and have their own opinions and life experiences and reactions. They may choose for Masha not to have been listening behind the door in the corridor or wherever, toting, but I chose to listen to what the boys have to say about me because I'm into the juicy gossip that way, And you can see how as an actor I have the conscious awareness, and yeah, in a way I am being a spectator. I'm reading about these things in books and it all seems terribly silly and predictable, but that's what Masha thinks. I'm reading the book, I'm reading the words, and it's so human. I have compassion actually for every single one of the viewpoints and the people in this text. And at the same time, I know what she's talking about. I literally, like, I'm binging on some Chinese dramas, and my mom and I discuss Chinese dramas a lot because she's really into them as well. Right now, my mood, I watch a lot of vertical dramas because they're very experimental. The good ones. The stories, I mean, a lot of them, these are proofs of concept, really. The cost of production is much lower. So the acting is, well, my mother said the acting's terrible. It's very, so yeah, I'm not watching it for the acting. It helps me to relax because, I watch it for the story. I watch it for the characters. Because, I mentioned in some of my TikTok videos how many iterations of rebirth stories I've watched. I love this whole theme of rebirth right now. So yeah, I've watched like the Huangho getting getting backstabbed. I've watched the Nubi getting reborn, and I for people who don't know Mandarin, I talked about like high status, like in feudal society, the empress and the slave or servant, and how I literally just watched 2 stories about women in these different positions and how they have to navigate society and what they know, because this is their second chance at life, what their past experiences have taught them, and then how they're able to really see the intentions that people around them have for them, and that intrigues me. So yeah, when you read about these things in books, it all seems terribly silly and predictable, but when you fall in love yourself, you realize nobody knows anything about it. Everyone has to figure it out for herself. I relate so much to this sentence right now. It resonates with me deeply. I love this work. And thank you for sharing it with me. I started this video because I just felt like, I started this series not knowing what I was gonna do. Let's be honest. Everyone is still figuring it out for themselves. But I did know what energy I wanted to bring. I knew I wanted to bring my aligned self and what I feel called to share and add to the human experience. Thank you for paying attention. All right, good night. She's going to go sleep. Thank you for working on this monologue with me. It's a real get ready with me video. You got ready with me for an intensive program that I'm going to be going for in Chekhov. And part of the work, my homework, was to bring a monologue. However, I like doing this because when I have the camera in front of me, it feels very different. Yeah. As an actor. If I was doing this by myself without the camera, I'd be imagining I was on stage with an audience member in the back row, like 600, 700, maybe 1,000. I don't know. Could I imagine 7,000 people? I can. Could I imagine tens of thousands as an actor on a stage? Whew, that just gave me chills a little bit. It gave me like baby chills, not like full chills, just I don't know. That would be kind of fun, but I definitely need a good mic. I need a good sound system. And it feels more like a concert than a theater. Theaters, for me, I love the intimacy of a theater. And the shared space for the work. But film, it's different. In a good way. And now I went through the whole of Act 3 up to this moment with you, talking all about it, living life from the point of view of Masha's imagination together. All these words you see it. Good night, for real, bye.